Hey there, as you're now moving to a new place or upgrading the furniture in your existing one, you look at the prices and you find everything so expensive. Don't worry, I'm here to give some tips to find some better deals. I've used them myself and had to learn them the hard way. I was initially also the guy who thought, okay, I'll just let my partner buy all the furniture, and then I started looking at the prices. I was like, no, I need to get these under control. And then I looked for strategies myself on how to get the best deals possible, and hopefully some of these can help you as well. And as I have a lot of friends now moving to new apartments, I thought this video came at the perfect time. And I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. With this video, I'm assuming a few things. One is you already measured your apartment, so you know what can fit where, and you already know how you want to kind of decorate each room. So with that, let's get to tip number one. And tip number one is don't buy everything in the same order. And what I mean by that is if we find these websites that you can pay all your furniture in 24-month installments with no interest, still really think through what you really need. Because you don't need to have your room looking like the catalog from that company. Maybe you don't really want it even. It makes sense if you want to have a TV set looking like the bookshelf that you have in the same room. But I mean, you don't need to have the couch as well. And so you really want to be practical and find the best deals possible. And that will definitely happen in different websites. So keep that in mind. And also one thing, even for dining areas, unless you really are looking for the classic look, you don't need to have the table with matching chairs. I mean, you can have different chairs. You could even have different colors of chairs. You could decide to make sets of 2 chairs that are different colors. Tip number 2 is when you find something you like, take a look on the description and put it on your search terms in your browser. I'm saying this because sometimes you'll find this perfect furniture that you really like, but it's very expensive. It's not necessarily that you can only find it there. I mean, if you look online, there's usually a supplier that supplies all these companies, or maybe it's a slightly worse wood or a slightly worse metal, but you need to think, what do you really want? Do you want the design, or do you also need the robustness? In the end, it depends also on your situation. If you are moving to a rented apartment, you're probably not staying there for your whole life, so you need to consider if you move somewhere else, you'll probably break or damage the furniture, and even if you want to sell it, people will not probably give you so much money for it, so keep that in mind. Oh, and tip number 3 is check for hidden costs. I mean, many times you go to these websites and they have very nice prices for their furniture, but then you need to pay also for delivery, and delivery can be very expensive, or the assembly is very expensive. And assembly, it's fine to do so for a lot of things like tables, chairs, bookshelves, but for example, a closet, especially if it's like 3 by 2 meter 50, it can be quite hard, especially if you don't have 3 friends to help you in your area, or if you are just getting old. I mean, I think I am. Also, it's a lot of time that you spend, and you can damage it yourself when you are assembling it, which is very bad because it's a super expensive furniture item. So tip number 4 is check local secondhand websites. And here I mean really that you are interacting directly with the seller, because if you're interacting with a company, there are these websites, they claim they are selling second-hand products, so they are cheaper that way, or even new products with just slight damages and they are cheaper. And typically these companies are actually not much cheaper than regular first-hand. These companies are only preying on the naivety of people. What you should do instead is look for sellers in your area. And there will always be people selling furniture because people are moving out of their apartments all the time, and sometimes they even give it for free, just that you need to take it, and they want you to because they want to get rid of everything, or sometimes they even leave it on the street, so you can pick stuff that way as well. I got like for 20 euros an iron cupboard, super sturdy, to put drinks on top, and looks very cool. So the guy said he paid a couple of hundred of euros for it, and I totally believe him because it was one of these fancy guys was driving a Porsche. Yeah, he was moving to London, which is very far away, and he couldn't carry it with him, so he sold it to me for very cheap. The only thing is I had to carry the thing the whole way from his place to mine, which was like 2-3 kilometers in Frankfurt, just dragging the whole thing around. But it was okay, it had wheels, so it was not that bad. But keep that in mind if you're getting second-hand furniture, is you need to carry it, and sometimes can be tricky or you can damage it on the way. Tip number 5, complain. And you're like, what? What does that mean? I mean, when you buy stuff from online shops, especially with online delivery, you will probably get some slight damages. It can happen. So if it does, what you want to make sure is these cosmetic damages are within what you'd normally accept. But you want to take very close pictures and be as picky as possible to register all the damages. And you want to register the size of the damage and the number of damages that you have, because then you can get as much money back from these purchases as possible. It works really well, and I don't think that many people do it. So I think the normal person, they get damages and either they return it automatically to get new damages, and at some point they will just make a formal complaint, oh, I cannot buy these anymore, why am I always getting damages? And I mean, some of these things are just natural, because you would need to have like a kind of bubble boy protection to not have any sort of damages. But if you do it the right way and you can just complain, you can get a pretty good discount out of it. And I did it, for example, with the bench from my dining area, where I saw like a scratch. It was like this size, and I mean, you don't see it from every angle, just if you are in a certain angle, but because it's quite big, they sold me for half the price. And tip number 6, this one should be very obvious for anyone who watches YouTube a lot, is repurpose furniture or do-it-yourself furniture. And I mean, maybe you already have existing furniture that's like wood color and you want now a white apartment. You just paint your furniture in white. I mean, maybe it doesn't work with everything, but some things you can repurpose. Or maybe if you want to paint it in a funky color, typically it's easier that way. You get your unique taste and also a sense of achievement that you did it yourself. Also, you can really do it yourself furniture. I mean, here we got some palettes and we just painted them white, and it looks quite nice. I really enjoy it, and I know it's simple, but I'm happy about what I did. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. See ya!